Okay, we are officially live. Okay, hello everybody.
Yay.
I'm with Dr. Arlen. Say hello, Dr. Arlen.
Hi, everyone.
She joins us from New York City. I'm going to wait a little bit, tap dance a little bit, and let more people join this live. But this is not my normal TV face. It's the end of my day, and right now it's a stressful time to be in the world, and I think to work in news because there's a lot going on. So I really wanted to empower myself with different healthy things I can do to fight anxiety, to relax. So I wanted to talk to a professional doctor, strong female who has dedicated her career to this. So first, let me say thank you. And
You're
then
welcome.
also, are you hearing this from a lot of people? They're looking for ways to de-stress, relax in this moment.
Yes, definitely. I feel like that's probably 99% of my practice right now is people not only trying to figure out how to deal with all of their anxiety from quarantine,
Yeah.
but then also the now pressing anxiety of coming out of quarantine
Yeah.
and what life looks like now.
Yeah, it's true. And there's so much that is out of our control. One of the reason I really wanted to talk with you is, I guess, my breath. There's certain things in my body that I can control, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't control the headlines. And you train
Nope.
people on how to tap into this.
Yes, definitely. So a huge part of my practice is actually helping patients come back to their breath. And I do that in many different ways. I do a lot of breathing work with acupuncture too. So that's part of the practice.
And Doctor, what would you say to somebody, because people are joining right now, keep joining us, guys. We're about to do one of these exercises and you guys can join. But people that say, you can't really alleviate anxiety with breath or with a simple behavior at home. What would you say to those individuals?
Well, I'm laughing because you 100% can. There actually was a study recently that showed that breath work actually could alleviate the symptoms of PTSD in returning veterans. So your breath is completely attached to your nervous system. And that is how your body physically responds to stress and anxiety. So if you can control your breath, you can help to control how your body responds to these different stimuli that are coming from the external world.
I love that. And I love anything that can make me feel a little bit more calm and peaceful at this moment. And that makes sense also to me, doctor, because I think about and everybody at home, when you get anxious or scared, like my breathing versus when, like if you're getting a massage, you're just like, it's that deep, and you're aware of it. So there is a difference. Like you breathe differently when you have these different emotions.
Oh, yes, definitely. And also, we as humans now don't breathe the way we once did. It's very interesting. There's physical therapists that work directly with working with the diaphragm. And in conversations that I've had with them, they've told me and taught me about how because of how sitting at the computer all day, because of lack of exercise, we're not actually using our diaphragm appropriately. And so that has so much to do with breathing. Yeah.
Well, let's train us the right way. Okay, so for everybody just now joining, I'm here with Dr. Arlen. She's an acupuncturist. She does breath work, meditation. She's based out of New York City, so she treats some of the busiest. That city's got a lot of stress.
We're pretty stressed out here.
Yeah,
and everyone's type A. Everyone's type A.
That's so true. That is so true. People say that they're sharing this right now, so that's awesome. So what I want you guys to do is to join me. Dr. Arlen's going to lead me through simple behaviors and exercises that I can do at home to de-stress. So I'm ready to rock.
All right. Let me just start off with some few simple things that I feel like we all hear constantly. And sometimes I feel like a broken record saying this to patients, but they really do make a huge difference. And the first is put your phone down. So the first thing is, how many of us find ourselves like brushing our teeth in the morning and looking at Instagram or like the news or anything, emails.
You don't even remember what you've been going through.
No. How do you know you brushed for 2 minutes?
Phones.
Yes.
I'm going to throw them
away.
Both gone.
Or just put them to the other room.
If my boss is watching, this is why I'm not going to answer.
So that I think is a huge part of it. Also, the way that we have our phones attached to us all the time, it promotes this immediacy response, which also puts a lot of pressure on us. Yes. So being able to kind of put the phone down, even if you know, I try to set a rule to myself that I don't have my phone until I have my coffee.
Oh my God.
So
can you guys imagine at home? Like my phone's the first thing. I can't imagine that. What is that? 10 minutes?
Yeah. I try to drag it out, but
how crazy is that 10 minutes we can't do. I want to get to one question because I'm afraid Lou's going to leave and then I want you to finish. But Lou, he just wrote us and he said he's a truck driver. He drives over 500 miles a day most of the time, usually 5 to 6 days a week. He noticed lots of tension headaches from all the stress of dealing with traffic, the strain of constantly focusing. He needs like a 15-minute session every day. Usually he just jumps in the pool, but he desires something more. So I think what we're about to do is something sounds like would be perfect for him.
Yeah, I completely agree. And even finding time to do 5 minutes of meditation a day. And I think what we'll do, I mean, we could drag it out. You could do it for a longer period of time, but you really just need to add a little bit in, and it makes a huge difference.
Okay. I mean, sitting still for 30 seconds for me would be a challenge right now. So,
girl, I know.
I mean, I truly need this. So, all right, I'm going to shut up and you're going to teach me.
Yes. Okay. Before I start, I just want to say that it's often the things we resist the most that we need the most. So let that sink in a little.
No, yeah.
It's truly what it is. Okay, but let's start off with it. So I'm going to have you close your eyes.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you start taking some deep belly breaths. And feel your belly as you get to the bottom of your breath puff out with the air. And we're going to do it to the count of 4. So 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to do 2 more breaths on your own. And nod your head when you're ready. Okay, so now picture yourself sitting on the moss underneath a tree at the bank of a beautiful, crystally flowing river. The sun is shining down on your face. You can hear some birds chirping. And the river is cool and nice and easy. And as you're looking at the river, you might notice some thoughts floating by. You can let them float by. If there's one that stands out to you in particular, maybe a theme that's been going on, something that's giving you a little bit of stress or anxiety, look at it with curiosity, but also just let it float by. You don't want to get stuck on it. Just say, oh, there you are, and watch it float by until it's out of your peripheral vision. And then you might notice some feelings or emotions coming down the river. And this happens all the time. And sometimes we can't distinguish the difference between emotions and thoughts. But if you picture one that's coming by and you can say, this is an emotion I'm feeling, see it, recognize it, look at it with some curiosity, and let it float by out of your peripheral vision. And keep taking some deep breaths. Feel the sun shining on your head. Maybe feel your toes in the water. And just let all of those thoughts and emotions float by as you observe them. Okay. And when you're feeling ready, I want you to take 4 breaths in and out. And then when you're finished, you can slowly open your eyes.
Perfect timing.
I know.
Good.
Welcome back.
Wow. Wow. Gizmo. Hey! Let me get that, and then I'm going to tell you guys about that.
Yes,
what just
please.
happened. That was lovely. Thank you. This is live, by the way. All right.
Gizmo.
Oh, Gizmo. Okay. Wow.
So, how are you?
You know what I realized? And I think it was because of what you said at the beginning too. That's probably the first time that my mind hasn't been fragmented. And that was what, 2 minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know in how long. From
Wow.
when you work from home, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Phones. That's the thing that sticks out to me. I did not realize how long it's been that I've taken a 2-minute break in that way.
So important. It's really important, especially working from home.
Yes.
You know, and now we're all so used to it. You know, at least most of us are. And the huge thing that keeps us sane is taking breaks.
Yeah.
That's so important.
But really taking breaks.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things that the part of this practice that I liked was putting away the phone. Because if I sat here and just had it, I would be on it. I wouldn't just be still.
Well, it's distracting, right? Even if someone texts you and it buzzes and you're in the middle of this,
yes,
you immediately leave the river.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what was that?
Yeah. And the river is such a lovely place to be. You don't want to leave that.
No, definitely not.
This is really cool. We had some people at home joining us. Cindy, she said, wow, that was perfect timing. Awesome. It felt very good and so real. I could actually feel the water on my feet.
I love that.
I know. That's really cool. Thank you, Cindy. Lou Brockman, he is our trucker extraordinaire who's all over the country. He said, wow, that really helped. He also said the dog got my attention. LOL. Okay, here's a good question. And I bet you hear a lot about this. Sleep and your recommendations for it. Christina wrote that she has erratic sleep patterns. She feels like her brain never shuts off because of that. Are there practices, things that you suggest? And do you hear a lot of people asking about sleep?
Oh, yes. Sleep and abnormal sleep patterns are a huge part of my practice. Acupuncture is extremely helpful for it because of the way it works on your nervous system. And I also think situations where you feel like your brain never shuts off, it's a perfect example of the time when you have to practice moments of silence and being present.
Yeah.
There's another really good meditation that I love that comes from Japan, where you pretty much, if you're feeling, it really is used a lot for anxiety, but I think it works just to bring you into the present, where you verbally tell yourself 5 things you can see, smell, hear, taste, and feel. And I think that's a really good thing to do when you feel like your brain, you can't get out of your own brain, right? So I have patients do that a lot when they're laying in bed and they just can't turn off their brain. And they're like, why can't I go to sleep? I start having them practice that and maybe get up, walk out of their bedroom, sit in the living room or a porch or something and do that. And then it brings you back into your body and into the present because you're recognizing your senses.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's something that we as a society are so, we use our brains a lot now, and we don't use our bodies as much. And we're less connected to everything that's happening in our bodies.
That makes perfect sense. And the idea of like recognizing that, like, oh, I see this microphone. I feel like the cool marble. That is the present moment. Just it's exactly what you're feeling and engaging in that moment. That makes sense to me.
Right. Yeah. And most of the time when we're can't get out of our heads, we're overthinking things, either in the past or the present or the future.
It takes you. Yeah. When you're out of that, that's when you're either regretting something from the past or yes, that's exactly right.
So you need to bring yourself back.
Lou had another question. He said,
yes,
this really helped him refocus and relax, but he's afraid that he won't do it on his own initiative. He said, just being honest. Thank you, Lou, for the honesty.
Totally fair.
He wants to know, do you have a YouTube, or is there a way that he can access, like, do you have any other videos?
I am in the process of putting them up.
That's awesome.
So they will be available soon. And I can give you the information once they're all up and stuff, so that Lou can find them.
That's perfect.
I also do Zoom practices. So
kind of like what we just did right now.
Yeah.
You'll have a client reach out to you, and then you schedule with that,
and then we do a Zoom appointment that's specific. Well.
Especially if you have really good headphones. You guys, it was really cool. I don't know if you guys were just listening on speakers, but with headphones, it's like, Arlen, like you're in my brain. Like it was really cool.
I love that.
That's a cool way to do it.
I love that.
Okay, so explain to people what it is that you do, and then also kind of how you got into having your own medical practice in one of the toughest cities to make it in. That's just, I don't know. I love all of it.
Yeah. So I'm an acupuncturist and Chinese herbalist. And for those of you who are not familiar with acupuncture, acupuncture is the insertion of very thin needles into specific points on the body. And what that is doing is it's stimulating your nervous system. And that's creating a response in your body, which then provides a change. So ultimately what's happening is these needles are stimulating nerves that are talking to your brain. And then that's providing a change in your body. That's why it's so relaxing.
So everybody watching, I have personally done acupuncture, and it was fantastic for me. I first did it after it was a car accident. Like I had all these back problems. I really enjoyed it. And it was interesting how much it relaxed me. But everybody's health practice is their own. So if you guys have questions for Dr. Arlen, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions also about acupuncture, and people are just curious. What's like the number one question that you get that you're kind of like, that again?
Well, there's a few, but does it hurt?
Yeah.
Is a big one.
And the answer is no.
No. There's definitely, so the sensation of chi, which is pretty much us stimulating the nerve, is never painful. You might feel a dull ache. You might feel a little bit of a zing. Sometimes it can feel stronger than others. Other times we actually make your muscle jump. So it'll make it contract and release. And that's usually by intention, because we're trying to stimulate the motor nerve. But it never should hurt. And that's not usually. I've never had that experience before.
Well, that's good to know. So guys, if you go and get it and it's really hurting, you might want to get out of there. We have a very specific question. Marshall wants to know if hangover anxiety remedies, aside from drinking more, he said. Very specific question. Thank you, sir.
Definitely. Well, I have a lot. I spent a lot of time, honestly, in med school trying to figure out the ideal way of being able to drink and then feel great the next day.
See, college, you learn a lot of things in college.
Totally. But ultimately what I would say is, as you're drinking, hydrate and take electrolytes. There's a lot of really amazing natural electrolyte drinks now, like Noon is one. I love Noon. And then take a B complex.
So do that before you, like, if you're going to head out to a party or
Yeah,
whatever.
if you're going to head out. And really, that's like the best way to do it that I've
So
found.
hydrate while you dehydrate.
Yes.
And then it could be complex.
Yeah.
Because the next day it's kind of too late, isn't it?
Right. And most of the symptoms of hangovers are because your body's been depleted of all these nutrients while detoxing alcohol from your system. So what you want to do is provide your body with the nutrients it needs to do the detoxification, and then you won't be depleting the extra nutrients.
Very good. Good question and good answer. I may not use that on some Sunday morning. I can neither confirm nor deny. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your practice and what it is that you do and the type of clients that you have.
Sure. So I have what's kind of slowly become a smaller range of client base, but there's quite a few things that I'm really into. Mm-hmm. One thing that just like makes me so joyous is women's health.
Yeah.
I do a lot of women's health. I love fertility. I love working with younger women. It just really makes me so happy because I love to educate my patients and I try to find every way possible to do it. So it's really fun when there's something that's super important to my patient and they're right in there with me fighting it.
Why is education an important component of this for you? Because sometimes I think the experience of medicine is getting a prescription and moving on, and I couldn't even tell you what it is that the bottle of pills is actually doing. Why is education, what role do you think it plays in the healing process, our healthcare, and our just wellness overall?
Well, to start, I think that it's really important that we, as patients, myself as well, understand why we got to where we are. Because also then that will help us to understand why we need to make these changes in our lifestyles or, you know, take certain supplements or herbs or get acupuncture so many times a week to make a change to get you back to a balanced place.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, there's many acupuncturists and doctors out there that just are like, okay, you're coming in, I'm going to do these points, you take these herbs, go home. But it's really important to me that my patients understand why.
Because you can get out of health or because of bad sleep or not breathing properly or giving yourself your mind to break these things. So, you know, Dr. Arlen, I would actually say that might, like, does it put you out of a job because you're empowered? Like, if I'm smarter, am I not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I tell my patients all the time, my goal is to get you to not need me.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, I love you. I love seeing you. It makes me happy, but get out of here. Like, I want you to be to a place where you don't need me anymore.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that. Okay. Lou Brockman. Lou, you're like my favorite viewer today. He says
Lou is all over it.
He's all over it. He says he's asking for his wife, and this is a good question. Lou, thank you for asking this. Specific applications for cramps.
Ooh. Oh, see, I love treating
Lou, thank
cramps.
you for asking that, Lou.
That's a very good question. Well, so interestingly, it depends on why we have cramps in the first place. There's just many different reasons for why a woman would have period cramps. And so, you know, I think that it will require a little more getting into it and asking questions on, you know, my end or another doctor's end. But ultimately, you know, do what feels good for you. So if she or any of you out there want to put a heating pad on, go for it. I also know this might seem weird, but like we've talked about this, Gwyneth Paltrow got this out and about a few years ago.
I think I know what you're going to say.
But vaginal steaming is really effective.
This is, guys, this is the first time I've ever discussed vaginal steaming on
Facebook
on this broadcast. Okay, so Lou, should look into that.
Look into that.
I've heard diet and supplements.
Definitely. So one huge thing that I've found is avoiding alcohol. and taking certain supplements like milk thistle or NAC, things that will help your body like go through the detox process. In Chinese
Milk
medicine,
thistle,
yeah,
NAC.
NAC,
What else?
and anything that helps support your liver with the detox pathway. So like lemon water. There's other things that are like a little more woo-woo, like doing castor oil packs. That can be really helpful. But, you know, I think anything that's going to help your body process things better and get them out of you, because, you know, estrogen leaves your body through detoxification. So your liver is part of removing estrogen from your body. So it's really very much involved in your hormones in general. And very often period cramps are related to hormones.
Yeah.
So anything that helps to kind of take the burden off of your liver is really helpful.
Okay. And is that just like right before, or do you have to like put down the bottle all month long?
I wouldn't say necessarily all month long, but if you're drinking 5-6 days a week, like I think a lot of people have recently, you know, just a little glass of wine, I would pull it back a little.
Okay.
And then definitely like the week before your period, I would
really
avoid.
Healthy, drink tons of water, lemon water, and look into those supplements.
Yeah. And definitely, I would consult with another doctor.
To find the
definitely. Yep.
Lou says thank you. He says that he thinks his wife is going to give him the side eye when he recommends the vaginal steaming, probably. But Lou,
tell her to look it up.
Look it up and look up Dr. Arlen.
Yeah, steamy chick is great. Yeah, message me and we'll chat about it.
But I also think I mean, it sounds so simple, but we don't do it. Drink water and be good to your body. Exercise. Yeah. We forget how far that goes.
Totally. Yeah, it's true. And, you know, in Chinese medicine, I mean, this we can talk about in more depth later, but Chinese medicine, period cramps are very much related to something called liver qi stagnation. Mm-hmm. And a lot of symptoms of that are like headaches, frustration. Things aren't moving in your body. So they get really stagnant and stuck. So that's why exercise is really important, because it keeps things flowing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Any final... Oh, Kathy's saying, so drinking lemon water is good for detox? Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Very good.
It's very
lemon
good.
Water right here, Kathy. That's why my skin will be glowing tomorrow morning when you all tune in.
Yes.
Final thoughts on, you know, as a medical expert, somebody that has committed their life to helping people have their best health and best wellness. Thoughts on this moment that we're in. Top 3 things that, if nothing else, take this away.
Oh, yes. So, you know, I guess I'll answer this in kind of what I've learned.
Okay.
From this time.
Because you're living on this planet as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
And we know how everybody watching New York City, how I think it was the most intense there. And to experience that, I can't imagine.
It's been a little wild. But, you know, I think the things that I've learned, I mean, the most important thing is to be kind to yourself. You know, we're all trying. Mm-hmm. We're all evolving. We're all growing. And sometimes it's not as fast as we want it to be. But as long as you keep moving forward, you're still, you know, creating progress.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you know, I think in some ways, what I've heard from other people is being out of work during this time has been, you know, a burden in one way and also a blessing in another.
Yeah.
And I've heard from a lot of people that it's helped them to reprioritize what's important to them. And, you know, a lot of those things I'm hearing from my patients are reprioritizing their health and diet. And I think that that's amazing. So I think it's really important that as we kind of start opening up, we can go back to restaurants, we can, you know, start living a somewhat normal life, that we maintain these priorities. And these like really great habits that we've all kind of created during this time.
Yeah, there has been good. And let us know if you guys feel the same way. For me, like the connections I've made with my family over this time, and that's been, relationships have always been the most important thing to me, but that's been like, probably, it's just re-solidified that, like, just don't take that for granted. Like, how amazing is it to have people in your life that you love? And
so great.
Just, like, you should be doing backflips every day. Really, it's a privilege and a flippin' gift. And I don't want to forget. I feel like I've been reminded that in a way I didn't know before, and I don't want to forget that.
Yeah, I love that so much. It's super important to maintain those connecting relationships that help to feed us.
I know. Kathy said thank you for you answering her question about the lemon water. And then
You're
your
welcome.
final tip. So
yes,
know that there's progress. Be kind to yourself. Check into this priorities, like what we've learned. And then what would you finally say?
And the final thing that I would say is that you should try something new. You know,
like
if try acupuncture, try something a little bit different, no matter what it is. Remember that we're alive, you know, things are, you know.
I'm not kidding. That breathing exercise that we did, Dr. Arlen, that was a gift to me, and that was sadly, that was trying something new for me.
You're gonna make me cheer.
I really mean it. It like struck me. I think I was also jarred awake by Gizmo, but you know, it really, something was happening. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome. And it's, you know, I think kind of like what Lou was saying, that it's hard to get yourself to do it by yourself.
Yes.
But I think that it's such a helpful practice. And there's also, you know, I'll be having stuff up on YouTube. I'm available through Zoom. So we can do things that are more specific.
Can people what's the best way to contact you for people?
At the moment, through Instagram would be super easy.
Okay. And you don't have Instagram? Do you have a email that they can?
I have an email.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to add that
so I'll add
Instagram to this. So if you guys want to set up like a guided, I'm going to set one up with you after this, guided meditation. You could do that with like coworkers or family, because I do some family Zooms and family members that could benefit from this.
Yeah. Can't we all though?
I know, right? I know. I think that would be really fun. So I'll add that information.
Yeah, thank you. Do it. And I think that, you know, taking time to be present is really important.
I actually want to do one last thing before we leave.
Yeah.
Pamela Spell, if you're still watching, Pam, Arlen, I've got to tell you about Pam. She is incredible. I did a story on her. Essentially, the story was about all the lives that she impacts and all of the good that she does in this world. Yeah. She's the manager at this cafe called Norma's Cafe that has the best homemade pie, like down-home food. They are this place for first responders. They reach out to the families of first responders who have been killed, and they're there for them. I think when like, the rest of the world kind of moves on, Pam's doing food drives for different homeless shelters. This woman doesn't sleep. She's still watching now. So your advice for somebody like Pam, who gives and gives and gives and works 8 million hours a week. Yeah. I don't think she's wired any other way. I don't think she has to give, but what's some advice to help her make sure she's taking care of herself?
Well, so I know some Pams in my life. Yeah. Oh, I mean, the world is lucky, honestly. Yes. Yeah. But, you know, I think the thing is that you just make certain you're taking time to care for yourself, whatever that is that's doing it, whether it's like, you know, doing exercise or sitting in the pool or, you know, playing with a niece or nephew, you know, anything that helps to kind of fill your own cup. That's probably the most important thing because, you know, a lot of women in particular are givers. Yes. And it's really important that we're getting filled up too. Yeah. So I would just say take time, you know, if it's not daily, once a week, draw a bubble bath, know, something that's just going to kind of fill you up. You know, that the feeling when you get like the warm and fuzzies.
Yes.
It's so important that we treat ourselves with that, you know?
Yes. Treat ourselves with that.
Treat ourselves with that, especially when we're giving to others all the time.
So Pam, you have to do a bubble bath. It's the doctor's orders, and we want you to send photos, please.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Pam. Dr. Arlen, we're getting so many messages. Thank you, Dr. Arlen, and thank you, Hannah, for having Dr. Arlen on here. Thanks to both of you. Have a wonderful evening. People love this. Allison, thank you so much. That's what she said. So thank you guys for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
And I'll put Dr. Arlen's information, her email, and her Instagram handle, and you can reach out if you have any questions about different practices that you can do, even digitally like this. It was really helpful for me.
Yes, thank you so much, Hannah.
You're so welcome. This was the blast. Can we do it again?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. On that, I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Hold on.